Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get rocking. So if you're thinking recession might be around the corner and you're trying to protect the assets you have and grow your wealth through cash flow investing, real estate investing, the spot that has been trusted for centuries, then you're in the right spot. Today, I got a ton of data we're going to go through. I'm going to make it fun, I promise. But what's happening right now is bananas. Bananas. The problem people are having right now is that although the stock market's tanking, cryptocurrency's tanking, and we're seeing like the biggest drop we've seen in a couple of years in the stock market, like this is huge. Meanwhile, real estate prices aren't. People are getting frustrated. They're like, hold on a second here. This doesn't make sense. Everything else is going down. Why not real estate? What's going to happen? Is it going to go down? When's it going to go down? What's going to happen with it? Can I still get cash flow deals? Because it certainly doesn't feel like it right now. If you've been buying multifamily, my partner and I just got one accepted 2 days ago under contract, a 68 unit building. It's insane. There's been like this massive grab where all these funds at once and all these people are trying to go out there and grab multifamily. And the same thing with even single family rentals, duplexes, condos, etc. And yet the market's crashing. Let's dive into this stuff today, okay? So if you're looking to build more cash flow for yourself through real estate and protect yourself during this recession that's likely around the corner, maybe we're even in the middle one right now. They never announce it until you're already through it. But if you're looking to protect yourself and build more wealth, build more cash flow, you're in the right spot, okay? First and foremost, I gotta give some props, some mad recognition. This is my favorite thing that I can do. We get to work with a lot of clients around the country, and when I get to see them winning, it just inspires me to do this every single day. So I hope that you'll share with me as we share some wins, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop them up, okay? So first one, Daryl Fields, you are rocking, man. I posted a little snippet of your success yesterday, but I love seeing that you just got another deal. You're teeing up another investor to take over one of your projects. Awesome work, my friend. Awesome work. You're crushing it, okay? Next one, Israel. I don't have a snapshot of you, but I heard you got a verbal acceptance on another deal, or on your first deal with us anyways. Nice job, man. Keep rocking it, okay? Randy and Laura, congratulations. I've been told that you got a $300,000 deal on a single family house, meaning you're going to potentially profit that much when the whole thing closes. Kick butt. Love it. Keep rocking. Keep rocking. Mr. Chris, nice job to you. I heard that you're clipping a deal that's around 40K. Nice job. Awesome. Those are fees just for selling the property. I love hearing this stuff. We got another investor that just closed on a 3-pack of houses today. Rodney, congratulations. You got cash flow building up. Your portfolio's building. Congratulations to you and looking forward to a long-term relationship, man. I hope we can be part of your portfolio forever, man. Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing in the wins with me. If you'll help me celebrate that stuff, just let me know in the comments, in the chat. Cheer these people on. It's these little milestones, getting the little things done that lead to the big things. People forget that all the time. They just look for immediate success, like this instant gratification society that we're in. And unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. If you really want to build a portfolio and have money coming in every single month passively, there's steps that we have to take. So I just love celebrating that, and I hope that you'll celebrate them with me, okay? Next thing that we're going to do, I want to look at the problems that are going on so we can come up with a solution for this, okay? Stock market's tanking, okay? You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this one out. You can go anywhere right now on the internet, the news, anywhere, like stock market's tanking. Now, I feel very blessed because what happened back in January is I had a really good friend who's a real estate investor. He owns, I think that I've helped him get 60, maybe 61 houses. He probably owns like 70 with duplexes and some multifamily and whatnot. But I was having a conversation with him, and he told me back in January, he said, Nate, something's just not right. I'm going to pull my cash out of the stock market. And I don't have very much cash in the stock market, never have. I'm a real estate guy, but I did have my wife, her IRA, retirement account, and my IRA tied to the stock market because it's pretty much all that we could do. And I rolled those into self-directed IRAs. I pulled them out in January based on what he told me. This is a very successful man, lots of properties, lots of other successful investments. So I took his wisdom to heart along with the data that I'm going to share with you. I'm a data nerd, but I took it to heart and I pulled my mind to the sidelines. And so I've spared, I feel very, very blessed. It's a gift from God that I had that conversation with him. But the market's it's getting his butt kicked. Okay, cryptocurrencies have never had such a butt whooping, and that's what's happening right now. Okay, so that's the reality of the marketplace as we go it. And then meanwhile, what the heck is going on with interest rates? Well, interest rates, they're rising. As you know, the Fed is trying to fight inflation right now. We have the record high inflation in 40 years. We've never seen it this out of control. It's not going to get better before it gets worse either. Okay. The Fed's trying to combat it. They're dumping assets from their balance sheet right now. This hasn't happened. They've been printing money for the last 14 years and handing it out into certain asset classes, bonds and whatnot. And now they're having to pull back and they have to dump it from their balance sheet and raise interest rates. This is uncharted territory for the United States of America. Okay, let's see what happens. In the time being, rates are still going up. They just hiked rates a couple of days ago. They're probably going to have another hike the next time that they meet in less than a month from now. So be prepared. Okay, what the heck is that doing? Everyone says, well, hey, that's going to slow down the real estate market. That's a good thing, right? Well, let's find out. Okay, here's what happens typically when rates go up. Let me share a screen on this. Okay. Typically, when rates go up, we see something like this. This is a decline. By the way, some of these charts and graphs, I'll name my sources and whatnot. You'll see the newspaper, the clipping on it, or this one's from Reventure Consultant. Nick over there does a huge compilation of data. So good. I want to give a positive shout out to him too. He compiled this data and he's showing right here. Look, since these rates started going up, what's been happening? The mortgage applications have been dropping. And what happens when mortgage applications drop? Well, then next, inventory starts to stack up. You can see this across the country, and I'm actually going to play around a little bit with you here today. I'll take your requests. If you want to see your state or your city live with us now, you can type in what city and what state you want to analyze. I'm going to go through mine in just a second here, but let's look at what's happening with the inventory, okay? And specifically, what happens is that these mortgage rates go up. And then typically what happens is that sellers start to cut their prices. And that's what you're seeing here. All of these states in the green, the most green areas, they're having price cuts right now. Okay. Because inventory is stacked up. There's not as much demand and therefore price cuts are happening. Okay. There's still some states that are the opposite. So if you're sitting there like, well, Nate, it's not true in my market. My market, I still have inflated prices still going up. I get it. I understand. I play this game in several markets myself. I'm just showing you what the data has. Okay. This is the real life data. What's happening right now. There are some states that are starting to drop their prices. Okay. Especially with inventory. Okay. Let's play with inventory. I'm highlighting over the state of Florida right now. This is the April release 2022. Okay. Of all the inventory, you can see here that inventory is still dropping in parts of Florida. Okay. Palm Beach, all of this East Coast, from Palm Beach all the way down to Miami, the inventory's dropped. It's negative territory. But then look at this. This is Florida, okay? Florida's on fire right now. Look at some of the West Coast markets, okay? Hernando County, it's a little bit further north of Tampa, but they're up 33% in inventory. Look at Sarasota County. Sarasota County is down a little bit. They're down negative 7%. Okay, cool, fine and dandy. That's where our office is. Charlotte County, up 29%. Okay, so what's happening right now, oh, my map reset on me. What's happening right now is that inventory is on the rise in some of these areas. Okay, it's not everywhere. So if you're still sitting in one of those markets where you're like, hold on, Nate, like I'm still feeling multiple offers, it's super competitive, all that kind of stuff. I get it. If we look at the inventory, I bet you it's probably either break even, it hasn't changed much, or it might even be negative territory on this map, which means that the inventory's gone down. And if that's the case, supply and demand, basic economics is always going to do what it does. Okay, so we're not going to see prices drop unless there's some catastrophe or there's massive inventory and then people have to start dropping their prices. That's just how this works. If you don't believe me, look at history. Okay, here's history on this. This is the 30-year fixed mortgage rate. 30-year fixed mortgage rate. By the way, let me know in the comments too. I'm getting a lot of comments and I should actually go look at this. We got some requests coming in. I'll start to highlight these in a little bit. So Holdfreach Properties. Okay, you want to see Kansas City. We got Charleston. We got Scottsdale. We got Atlanta requested, Oakland, Georgia. Okay, we'll hit some of these. Give me just a minute. Ola Hit. Yes, Hit. We got a Hit team member here. Awesome. Love that. Okay. Patricia wants to see New Jersey. Awesome. Okay. So we'll go and we'll hit some of these together. First, let me finish up this here. Okay. What's happening right now, if you don't believe me in like this whole game, then just look at history. You can Google search this stuff. You can go to the Fred St. Louis charts. They're really, really good. They got this stuff dialed in. This is the 30-year fixed mortgage rate. You can see here back in the 80s, back in the 1980s, interest rates were sky high, like 18%. I remember my parents talking about some of them that were in the 20s at that time. I was just a kid merely born in the early 80s, okay? Now we fast forward to let's go back to the last cycle of real estate. That's when I cut my teeth in this game, so to speak. And what happened here back in 2005, 2006, they were trying to cool things down. They raised interest rates. They had to back off. They kind of peaked out at 6.8% back in July 20th, 2006. Now, what you want to compare that against is the Case-Shiller index. This is the home price index. It's also housed, same data house here, fred.stlouis.org. You can look all this stuff up. You can see here, back in 2004, what was happening? Okay, remember, they started raising interest rates and they peaked out in 2006. But did real estate prices peak out then? Yes or no in the chat. Let's do a little pop quiz. Did real estate prices peak out in 2006? Remember, interest rates did. Interest rates peaked right about here. And then prices, what happened with them? What happened with prices? Is it a direct cause and effect? Like they increase the interest rates and then all of a sudden prices drop? Is that what happens? Or what happens on this? No. Yeah, exactly. No, it wasn't a direct, okay? It took a little time to trickle through. It took some time for the market to absorb it. So basically they increase interest rates. The world goes into a little bit of shock. Mortgage applications fall. And then all of a sudden inventory increases. And then what happens after inventory increases, then all of a sudden you'll start to see people cutting their price. It's not immediate though. It's not like the stock market that can have a massive crash in one day just because of some bad news event. It doesn't work like that. Real estate's a little bit slower. Sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's 12 months, sometimes it could be a year. You just don't know. In real estate, it's really specific to your location. Even while the entire country was dropping in value during the last housing crisis that we went through back 2008 through 2012, depending on the zip code we're talking on, there were some areas that were immune to it. Texas, as an example, as a state as a whole, it just weathered fine. There were some increases back in Texas during that era. And so we can't just put this big global stamp over it and say, boom, this is what's going to happen. This is when it's going to happen. No one can do that. If anyone is proclaiming that, I would probably run from them. They're probably a false prophet. Okay. Run from that. You don't want that in your life. You don't at all. Instead, we look to history as a guide. We look at this data and we try to make logical conclusions on it. Economics is pretty fundamental. It's supply and demand based. And right now we've got interest rates rising. And then therefore there's some folks that they can't afford mortgage payments like they used to. So then therefore there's less people shopping, and that should start to cool things down. I say should because there's still so many variables. We have no idea how long this inflation is going to run out of control. We have no idea how much longer we're going to have an inventory shortage in some of these areas. Like I showed you, some of these inventory shortages, they're huge. Like we dropped another 48% in Broward County, Miami area. Holy cow. This is nuts. Okay, let's start looking up some of yours. Okay, I'm going to do these kind of statewide so you can see. So we got one request for Kansas City. I will do the state of Missouri. There's good old Missouri. So this is Missouri. I'll zoom out a little bit so you can kind of see it. You can see here in St. Louis, we've got inventory dropping still. If we start to go over to the west side of the state, we have a major inventory increase. So Warrensburg, Johnson County, okay, Kansas City right here. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can kind of see it. We've got inventory increases happening, okay? So there's some parts that are decreasing still, and there's other parts that are increasing still. So let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens in good old Missouri. I got a lot of clients of mine that I got one client that in the last 2 weeks, he's picked up 12 deals out of Kansas City. 12 deals. Okay. He's smoking. Him and his wife are smoking hot. Okay. Next one, let me go over to South Carolina. South Carolina. Here we go. I have one under contract in South Carolina in a city called Travelers Rest, just north of Green. Let's hold where we go. There we go. Okay, I'll zoom in a little bit. We'll go back to South Carolina. Okay, cool. So you can see what's happening inventory-wise. The property I have under contract right here is in Greenville County. It's my property is about 20 minutes north of downtown Greenville in the city called Travelers Rest. And you can see here that inventory is down 33%. Meanwhile, you've got other counties like Union County, Lawrence County, Greenwood County that are increased in inventory. I mean, Greenwood County is up 62%. Holy cow. This actually kind of is, I'm glad I'm looking at this with you right now. I didn't study South Carolina before I actually got on this with you guys, but look at this, a 36% increase pickup. I might actually pick up some properties over here pretty soon, because what typically happens when inventory increases, then there's less demand. And so then buyers are more willing to accept a different offer price, something that's more amenable for me to buy the property or for you to buy the property. Okay. So that's what's happening in South Carolina. You can see that, however, our coastal cities, our coastal counties, they're still losing inventory. They're down in inventory. That's what's happening in the coastal cities. Let's check out Arizona. We got a request for Scottsdale. Arizona. Oh, that's not Arizona. Come on. Got to zoom out here. We'll come across the country over here to Arizona. Arizona inventory. Look at this. A surge is happening. That's the blue. There's an inventory surge happening right now in Arizona. What do you think might happen with some of the values? Do you think people might drop their price if they have to sell? Now, not everyone has to sell, but when people have to sell, that's typically when they'll drop their price. Okay. I have one property listed right now for sale, and my realtor has reached out a couple of times asking me to drop the price. And I said, no, I don't really have any motivation. I can do a lot of stuff with that property. I could easily rent it out. I could do a rent own. I could do a lease option. I don't have to sell. I'm not under any kind of stress or pressure. But there's other people that sometimes they have to sell, and then they end up playing this price cut game to be able to sell in a market that's got inventory that's increasing. So let's see what happens. This is where it's going to get interesting. Okay. This is where the whole thing starts coming together. And if you're watching this now and your market's still red and you're like, well, I don't feel it yet. When's it coming? When's it coming? I don't know is the real answer, but it probably is coming at some point. You just got to stay tuned. You got to keep watching the data with this stuff. Okay. By the way, if this data is helpful for you, if this is adding value to you, I would really appreciate if you could take a minute to smash that like button and drop a comment below, letting the algorithms of these social platforms know this is good stuff for you. Okay. I would appreciate that if you could smash that like button and drop a comment below and just preach to the social algorithms. Okay. It helps us get this content out there to more people. Okay, cool. Atlanta, Georgia is the next one. I have a couple clients in Georgia. I got one in Tucker, Georgia, and we help them locate properties in Tucker, just outside of Atlanta, just to the east of it. Okay, let's look at Georgia. We've got all kinds of colors going on in Georgia. You can see here that the state's kind of mixed. There's some areas, most of Atlanta has decreased in inventory, but if you go just outside of the rural areas, the rural counties, it's mostly an inventory surge. A lot of inventory's picked up. So that's interesting. Okay. So as you're making offers, you're trying to buy in Atlanta, know that it's going to be competitive. You're going to have to pay market price, or maybe even more than market price, because it's still running, still surging up. But just outside of it, the inventory is starting to surge. It's picking up dramatically. Okay. And then we go down to the coastline. A couple counties have actually started to pick up inventory. Okay. Glenn County, however, has dropped in inventory. Okay. And then Savannah area has dropped in inventory as well, down 40-some%. Okay. That's a great one. Good example. How about California? We got someone asking for Oakland, California. I'm going to do California as a whole. And then we'll zoom out a little bit and we'll go take a look at this. Okay. So California, we got all kinds of colors going on. The east side of the state is predominantly blue. So like the Inland Empire, I used to do some stuff out there when I used to work for Target a long time ago. They had me moved out to San Bernardino County to help build a new import warehouse and staff it and all that kind of stuff. Surge in inventory, 31%. Okay, Los Angeles, however, is down in inventory. Sonoma, Santa Clara, down in inventory. San Francisco looks like it's picked up 6% inventory. So our inland empire heading towards the mountains, the desert to the mountains kind of area, we're up in inventory a lot, but our coastal cities, for the most part, are still losing inventory. Okay, so you got a mixed bag going on in California, but the state's predominantly blue overall, which means inventory has increased overall in the state. So that's great. Great one. Okay, let's take a look at Jersey. Good old New Jersey. New Jersey. This will be for Mark. We got a client up there. He is a superstar real estate investor. Love working with Mark. He doesn't give himself enough credit, so I'm going to boast about him. He always says, "What? Expert?" And I'm like, "Yeah, expert. He's an expert. He's really good at what he does." He's starting to get into some nice multifamily properties. Okay, so let's check this out. Okay, inventory kind of as a whole in Jersey is gone into negative territory. It's probably still red hot. It's probably hard to get deals. And I know just from talking with Mark, he works hard, but he still knocks down deals. Okay. You got a couple counties, however, that have entered the light blue range. So the inventory has started to pick up, but for the most part, it's still a seller's market, still advantageous for the sellers. There's so much demand going on because inventory is not picking up yet. Okay. North Carolina, I see. North Carolina. We'll do a couple more of these, and I gotta hit a couple more bullet points yet today. Okay. North Carolina. What's happening in North Carolina? We got a lot of colors going on in North Carolina. Look at this. Okay. Look at this. Coastal cities mostly have dropped in inventory. Rural areas, I'm not talking about Charlotte, but rural areas are starting to pick up inventory. It's not a predominantly blue state, however. Okay. We're not talking politics here. We're talking the map colors. Inventory increases with the blue, inventory decreases with the red. So North Carolina's got a lot going on. I had a multifamily, a 16 unit under contract on the border right in Charlotte, but on the border of South Carolina, North Carolina, and I actually canceled it. There's a lot of competition right now. People are going nuts overpaying for stuff, but I canceled it because when I went and did a site visit, like the areas just weren't right. I won't take anything that's iffy. No way. I don't have time for it. I don't want to put it in front of my clients. I don't want those kind of headaches around me. I can find good deals, even in this kind of market. Okay. So if you're sitting there like, well, gosh, how do I cut through all the noise and find deals? I will tell you how to find deals. Here's the solution. Okay. Point blank, you go off market. You start sourcing off market deals. You can either do some hustling to get them, and I'll show you and talk about how to do that, or you can find people like my team that does that for you. Okay. There's a lot of ways that you can do it, but you got to get off market. That's the main solution. If you're still trying to buy stuff on the market, just know that deal isn't put in front of thousands of people because of the supply and demand issue. It's put in front of thousands of people, and sellers have not quite, we haven't had surging inventory long enough yet for people to be fearful and have to start dropping prices. If you were in the real estate game or buying any properties back in 2007, 2008, you'll know what I'm talking about. I remember I used to run every single morning. I used to run in this area of West St. Paul, Minnesota, and I would run down this street called Stryker Avenue. And I would run there every single day. And I saw this one beautiful house for sale, but the seller wanted way too much, astronomical price. And I just bypassed it, and everybody else did. And eventually it was the only house for sale at first. But then all of a sudden another house went up for sale in the same block. And then another one went up for sale in the same block. And then all three of them were listed at the same time. And then they started dropping in price. And then eventually that one house that was overpriced, it went through foreclosure, unfortunately. And then I saw it pop back up for sale again with a new agent listing it, and new sign, new everything. And it was like half the price from the old price, half the price. And I'm like, holy cow. I didn't understand it then because I didn't know what I know right now. But I'm like, wow, I immediately submitted an offer on that property, and I got it, and I made really good profit on it and all that kind of stuff. But I knew how to spot it. I knew how to find these deals. And there's different market cycles that we're going to go through. Right now, we're at one where you got to be working off market. You got to do something, what we call it SLP here. We joke and we call it set for life process. Okay. SLP. What it really stands for is selecting a property, finding a good leverage partner, and then finding a partner or a money source to help you fund that deal. And some of us are already the money source. We put money into deals and all that kind of stuff. But SLP, that's the way to do this business. You go off market, you do SLP. This strategy works better than anything else that I've touched in my lifetime, especially in this cycle that we're in right now. Okay. So go direct to seller, get away from the multiple offer games, get away from having to like haggle and beg and plead and all that kind of stuff. If you're working direct with seller, it's going to be much, much easier for you to make deals happen. If you want help with that, or if you're like, goodness, this stuff is fire. How do I do this stuff? How do I get help with this stuff? Then let me take 2 minutes and explain how you can get help with stuff. Okay. There's deals out here. Let me show you this. Okay. We just got, so I mentioned to you, I think I mentioned this, but our team internally, we picked up 13 contracts in 1 week. We're hustling, like we're playing the game hard, full time. We're running ads. We're doing all kinds of stuff. And so like when I say this, it didn't come like easy. We're working hard. Okay. But we picked up 13 contracts in a week. And like one of them is this one. It's this beautiful duplex. Look at this beautiful duplex, all in for $162,000. It rents for $2,000 a month today, like smoking cash flow deals. They still make sense. We're not in this overinflated market where people are paying literally, like some people follow that 1% rule where if it rents for $2,000 a month, then they would pay $200,000. I'm not playing the game where I have to pay $300,000 to get $2,000 in rent. I want good, solid cash flow numbers, whether it's duplex, single family, or it's a multifamily apartment building. Okay. Or this one, if people have like smaller appetites, sometimes we pick up these condos. This condo here we picked up for $70,000. It rents today for $925. But if it were rented at market rate, it would hit $1,200 a month. Stuff like this is what I'm talking about. Okay. If you want help finding properties like this, I'm going to encourage you to do one thing. Okay. I'm going to have you type in the comments below. And then what will happen is my team can connect with you. Okay. What you type is SLP. SLP. It stands for Set for Life Process. SLP. Okay. Here's what we do. We're really, really good. We're bar none the best at 3 things. Okay. The 3 things are as follows. Number 1, finding deals direct to seller. You want help with that? We're the best. You can look at our reviews. In fact, I'll pop them up here. We have 2 companies. We have our main brand, Home Invest, and then we have another brand called Social Media Blueprint because we've really hacked or cracked the code to social media. We are top rated, like 4.8 after hundreds of people have come through. Like you guys know how reviews are on the internet. Most people would love to tell you about all the bad stuff, but when it comes to the good stuff, a lot of people don't take the time to do it, but our community does. And a lot of you probably have taken the time to do it. I really appreciate you for that. But we really try. We really care. Like we go above and beyond to try to take care of our clients. And so that's why we have the reviews that we have. Okay. The other one, like you can Google search us, but Home Invest, we're a very credible company. We made the Inc. 500. We've done a ton of things. We did $10 million in a few short years. It's like we're operating at a very high level. Okay. So if you want our help with this stuff, then what you can do is this. Type the words SLP, just in the comment section, SLP, and then my team will reach out to you. Okay. What that will look like is it'll be a 15-minute phone call. Okay. There's no selling on that call whatsoever. It's literally to understand what your goals are, and then for us to tell you what we might be able to help with. And then if that's something that's interesting to you, if you're like, hey, gosh, I would love to look at properties. I'd love to get off market stuff. I'd love to learn how to get the off market deals. Then we can book another call for that where we jump on Zoom and kind of go a little bit deeper. But the first call is 15 minutes just to kind of see what this is all about. So if you want help with that, if you want help getting deals so that you don't have to go out and run in the hamster wheel and try to fight with everybody else in the noisy world to get your real estate deals and build your portfolio, then type the words, the letters SLP in the comments below. Okay, I think I hit everything. I'm going to scan for questions. I think we've nailed pretty much everything in here. Otherwise, I got to get in there. I got to go help with dinner because I got 2 little boys, a 2-year-old and an 8-year-old, that this is dad time. So I'm going to go do dad time now and then do dinner time with them. Okay. Thank you much. God bless. We'll see you on the other side. Looking forward to talking to some of you. Okay. Bye-bye.